Hey everyone, this is Mr. Isometric, and recently I made a video regarding how to learn Blender in 2025. Now, after making that video, I felt like I should make a beginner friendly tutorial series for Blender. Not that there are already massive Blender beginner tutorials, but I think I will go a little bit slower than those, and we will learn things from a very different perspective, something that when I was learning I wish someone taught me like that. So I will try to go in that way. So this tutorial series will be different because we are going to go into a very minute details on where the things are in Blender and how to remember them. Also, we will go in two ways. We will first try the manual approach, and then I will tell you the shortcut of it. In that way, you will know the both ways of doing it. Also, whenever you do things manually first and then go ahead and do it with a shortcut, the chances of you remembering that is much higher. Yeah, in this series, we will learn how to navigate inside Blender, and we are going to touch every sector of Blender, something that a beginner will definitely need. Doesn't matter if you want it for game development or rendering, things that we are going to touch, they are going to be in series, and I will always keep my titles very clear, and I will also tell what kind of tutorial that is going to be, like what on topic. So you can totally skip the videos that don't feel like you need in your workflow, and then you can watch the videos that are in your workflow. So yeah, so this video is like intro and some prerequisites that you might need before you start this tutorial series. So as you can see, my Blender looks a little bit different than yours. So I have changed some things. So with the add-ons, so the first thing is in Blender version 4 and above, we have, if you go into the edit and then preferences, Blender preference window open up. And now previously there was just one tab add-ons. Now we have get extensions. So if some things are missing in your Blender, like some add-ons you can't find them, you can totally find them in get extensions tab. Some things are in add-ons only. So we are going to talk about both of them. So the first thing is, let's talk about get extensions. Now get extensions, I have this many add-ons turned on. Now you don't need all of them. Now Blender Kit online asset library. Now this is a very useful thing. You can get a ton of resources for free and for paid in your Blender with the Blender Toolkit add-on. Now as you can see, I can see the car models, and then if we go further, you can find all sorts of assets that you want. If you don't want asset, you just want materials, you can get all kind of different materials if you want. You can also search a specific thing. You can get scenes in Blender, you can get worlds in Blender. So these are basically HDRIs that you can use for lighting, and this brush section is for alphas and textures, which are very useful in sculpting. Now all of this is available for free and for paid in Blender Toolkit. Now let's go back into edit preferences. Now as you can see, I have bool tools turned on. So this is a boolean shortcut. This is something that you might not need as a beginner, but you can totally use it. So turn it on, we will use it later in the tutorial. Extra curve object, extra mesh object. Now this thing, whenever you press shift A and you go into your mesh section, you'll see that you have this basic shapes available for you, and I think you might get till rounded cube, I guess. But with the extra mesh objects, you get all of this extra stuff, which is very useful in some cases. And then extra curves, as you might have seen. So with the curves, I think you are limited to fur, but with extra curves, I think you get this knot, spirals, and some profiles. And there is one more thing, loop tools. Now loop tools is another useful add-on that is basically used to manipulate the geometry. Very useful, but you might not need it as a beginner. But turn it on again, because we will be needing that in intermediate series. Magic UVs, again, just turn it on. Screencast keys, you don't need them. I just turned that on so that you guys can see what keys I'm pressing. Suppose if I'm holding shift and then I'm using middle mouse button, so you can totally see that on that corner over there. It registers everything, even my keystrokes, like whatever I press registers that. So in the add-on section now, you can see that I have BioVision BVH format. If this is turned on, just keep it. We are not going to use that. Next is Cycles Render Engine. If you have this turned on, by the way, Cycles Engine is an add-on. which is really weird to think about, but yeah, it is an add-on and you can turn it on and off. Okay, so Node Wrangler is something that you should definitely turn on. You will need it as a beginner and intermediate in every level. It will just make your life easier using the shader editor and geometry node. Retopoflow is the external add-on. It will not be available in Blender, and you also don't need it right yet. So if it is not there, don't worry about it. Yeah, rest of the things, they are enabled by default. So these are the prerequisite. Also, if your Blender scene has some mesh objects like a cube, suppose it also has a plane, so this is a default scene in Blender that you get. So you also might have a camera like this. If you don't want to delete them every session, like select everything, X delete. If you don't want that, just delete everything, just the way I did right now. So you need to go in files, default, and then save startup file. So this right now, whatever you see right now in the screen, this will be saved as my startup file. So if I do that and do override, now if I go to file, new, and create a general scene, let's not save anything. So as you can see, my Blender, it doesn't have those extra, like the objects by default which are there, they are not there anymore. In this way, you don't have to delete them every session. But if you like deleting that, don't do, I guess, whatever we just did. These are all the prerequisites that you need for future tutorial series. Now, at any point, if you feel like you're stuck or you have any doubts, you can obviously ask them in comment section below, or you can join my friendly community for 3D. If you are a game developer, do join. If you are a Blender user, do join it. So the link will be in the description below. And if you want to support this channel, definitely subscribe, like, and share. But if you want to support it a little bit more, you can go ahead and do that on Ko-fi. On Ko-fi, I put Blender files. So if I feel like this Blender file is useful, I will put it on my Ko-fi for free for you all guys. That's it for this prerequisite video, and I'll see you in the next Blender beginner tutorial series part. Till then, if you want to watch some other tutorials, go ahead. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.